Hey guys, what's going on? Legion here playing more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Welcome to our Daily Gaming XP Grind, episode 142. So, we're going to go inside the vault and see if potentially Blurite Ore has respawned. And I've went into this plenty of times, but basically we want the Blurite Ore because I think it's going to be incredibly useful when Felhallow does come to the game. I think it'll be the most powerful bolt initially, and then obviously other bolts are going to be able to be made that are going to be more powerful. But I think it's going to be important to have because basically you're going to want to have the most powerful bolt that you can initially, and because you're not going to be able to have access probably quite easily to the new bolt. And I guess even if you did, you want to have your best chance you can against the new monsters and creatures inside the game, right? So it looks like Blurite Ore is respawned, and this is actually quite nice. And then, yeah, I don't think they're going to add any new spells or anything like that with Blurite. Not spells, my bad. Sort of like blueprints. I think it's more so going to be just the same, but I'm just trying to go for my optimization when it comes to battle, because obviously these new creatures, monsters might have different mechanics, things like that. Probably a little bit more HP as well, so you're going to want to basically give yourself the best opportunity that you can to have an opportunity to beat them, because obviously it's going to be quite challenging. And so that's why we still get Lorite. I probably won't keep going over that. I just thought, in case someone else didn't happen to potentially see why we still collect that, that's pretty much why we still do that. And I would like to take this loads down away, but I think it'd be a little bit tricky to do right now. This one I would like to take away as well, but unfortunately, because there is just so much stuff built, we still get the lag while loading in here, so it's really hard to actually do that right now, right? So we'll have to come back at another time, or potentially do it behind the scenes. I think that makes the most sense. Um, let's see what we can't find over here. I don't know if the trees are going to keep respawning in over and over again. Otherwise, I might start to try to drop some down, because I would like to get some more birds' nests. Not really worried about my XP in woodcutting, but more so worried about getting birds' nests, as I would like to have more of those, as I think that they potentially will contain seeds for farming, which I've talked about quite a bit. And there's no guarantee with that. It's just sort of what I think is going to happen, and we've got another archer after us. That's one of the unfortunate things, is wherever you go, you can't seem to really escape it. You've got all these different creatures that want to basically destroy you. And I guess sometimes it works out. Imagine how many less Garu packs and Goblin packs I would actually have. How many less I would have if I wasn't attacked all the time and had to sort of take care of that. But look at all these onions right here. So we get quite a bit. And so that's actually quite nice. But the answer to how many we really need is small. That's pretty much it. We can actually take this away. That's another lodestone that we really don't need over here anymore. So always making changes in the game for sure, to try to basically just make progress in restructuring, or I guess what's the word I'm trying to think of? Not restructuring. It sort of passed me. I can't think of it, but just reusing things that basically have no purpose anymore. Still trying to think of the word. Can't seem to do it. But basically just reusing, restructure, thing like that. Still can't think of it. But anyway, so we're going to keep doing that, and basically all around the game. Like this one right here, we keep these for the sheep and ram, and I really don't know how often sheep and ram might really spawn exactly in this spot, but we've also got to be careful. Our inventory is almost full, and what that basically means is we're not going to be able to carry much more weight. So let's go ahead and back. Repurposing. There we go. That's the word. If you were wondering if I got it out of my head, I could not stop thinking about it. So I'm really glad that I was able to think about that. But basically repurposing things in a game that have uses, and basically I haven't really been using them. So I want to try to find uses for things that were no longer really used. So let's go ahead and we are going to have a real problem here eventually. We're running out of space over here. This whole area needs to be reorganized anyway. Something I'd like to get to at some point. Let's go ahead and go to the Whispering Swamp. And this is really important because clay. Is clay still going to be important when basically Valhalla comes to the game? And I don't see why it wouldn't. And it could keep this area still relative. Um, Really, I don't know. I believe it would be, right? You got to imagine they're going to add new sort of things you can build with construction. And obviously, clay is a big part. I mean, I would think of building a lot of different things. So hopefully, they still actually. Sorry about that. Hopefully, they actually still make clay an important part of the game. I think it should be. I think it's really cool. I actually quite really enjoyed it when I would mine just for hours of clay. So I really hope they still make that something that's going to be important in the game. Let's see. I'm sort of just running around trying to find putrid rats, and I can't seem to find any. So it's quite interesting. We've got our archer shooting us, I think, unless it was the delayed hit, which sometimes does happen. And it doesn't even look like there's any putrid rats out here, so we are going to basically give up on that location. Let's go check this location out. This is usually a pretty good location right up here in the back, but there's just like a goblin up there, and I don't really see any. And then there's Harlander. I think you can mix Harlander with clean water to make a drink, but I actually don't remember if that's all you need. But we do have an Abyssal Demon out here, so we're going to fight him really quick, as he's going to give us quite a bit of XP. I wish it was easier to kill this guy with other attack styles, but he's just not. So it really, it's tough because you want to get XP, a lot of XP and other skills, but ultimately melee just happens to be what he's weak to, apparently. And I obviously want to get the kill done somewhat efficiently, but alright, so is that putrid rats? It is, which is basically the whole reason we came out here. And, it's like range and melee are the most smoothest type of combat. I basically, oh, three at once, what is going on here? But yeah, they're basically the smoothest types of combat. I can't even see what I'm fighting. But yes, the smoothest types of combat. So they're rather enjoyable. But when it comes to basically magic, I don't like magic. I feel like one, you should be able to have a shield to protect yourself. And then two, it just shouldn't be like that. I feel like it's a little bit weird to me that it's so inefficient. And obviously, yes, we are in, early access and things like that. But look at range, look at melee. They're so much more powerful. And it's just ridiculous. I don't understand why it's like, you could switch to fire spells, yes, but that's not going to help you. That's actually just going to make it worse because that's more of like an area of effect. So it's not going to quite do the damage you really want it to do. So it's a little bit disappointing. Hopefully, once they add new spells to the game, it's a lot more effective. Potentially, I mean, I was going to say maybe it's because the ammo for them is a little bit different. Maybe it's easier to get. But let's be real, runes are not easy. I mean, not hard to get, right? So it's not that. I don't know what it is. I don't know why they've decided to go about it that way. We're just going to grab these herbs. I really don't need them necessarily. But why not? We're right here. We might as well grab these. Turn my back to a goblin to get shot. So that was actually quite interesting. Let's see. Alright, so we've got an Abyssal Demon killed. We've got a bunch of herbs. We killed a bunch of putrid rats. I mean, these are basically the lodestones that I'm going to want to keep. These are all the ones that are going to keep giving me food to work on cooking. I need more, of course, but currently, I'm not entirely sure, like, where I can put them without having a lag while I'm loading in. And I'm not currently in the headspace to start destroying all my wonderful creations. Like, this actually might be a pretty good place, but it's also close together. It doesn't really make sense to do that. I don't have any more in my inventory as well, so even if I wanted to go do that, I would actually have to go back to my base just to make another one. But there's so much And even though I collect and collect and collect, I use these things so fast, so nothing ever seems to last because I'm constantly in the process of using materials that I gather. What's going on over here? Oh, we got a little bit. Maybe this potentially could be a place. I don't have a lodestone over here, and we've got some dwellberries, some onions. Let's see. Sort of a dead zone a little bit, right? Once you get into the trees. Very interesting how that sort of like not grow much inside the tree area. But this actually might be a great place to put lodestone. I don't really have the resources with me to do it, so we're not going to, but quite a bit right there. So I mean, I would start cutting down trees again, but the problem is, last time I did that thinking I was decluttering the forest, they basically turned on me. They let them all grow back in like an update, and that was not fun. I initially thought, okay, well, if I slowly work towards this, I can eliminate all the trees I don't want. And that really took a turn for the worse when basically, sadly, it all just basically grew back. So that was not fun. Let's see, my inventory appears to be full. I really don't need that. I really don't need that. So that took care of that problem. I don't even know. Like, I sort of picked those up and in a hurry for no purpose at all really, because I don't need those. Um that's the interesting thing. I feel like I guess it's a multiplayer game, right? So I guess it makes sense that you can actually pick more of something up because you could give it to a friend potentially, right? But I don't know, it's a little bit weird to me. Still, I suppose. But then again, like I said, there's more than one player who plays the game, so it doesn't really, it's not that weird. I'm surprised that didn't poison me right there. I guess it's because my shield was up. We don't want to get poisoned as we're going to die, and I don't know where the closest lodestone is. So we've got to be a little bit careful here, because we don't want to die and have to run a ridiculous amount back to our body. Um, Trying to run through here as quick as possible, but it's so easy to miss a dwellberry. You wouldn't think so, but after you had to push the control button so many times, it just sort of starts to happen where you miss certain things. Let's see what we got going on out here. Let's actually put this back up, our wild pie, and the other thing, only because obviously we're going to be collecting a lot of different things for cooking, so the little bit of XP would be nice, even though I think it's so tiny a bit of XP, it really isn't even going to matter. But at the same time, I'd feel better if I was getting, I think it's like 1 XP, so it's really not a big deal, but at the same time, I'd rather have it than not have it. So let's go over here. This has always been a really great place to collect food. But the thing of it is, it can be a little bit dangerous. You might run into an abyssal demon, or all these hunters out here. There's so many of them. I don't understand why that is. It's sort of like a gathering zone for all these powerful enemies, which I'm sure you could deal with, right? But it's more so, do you want to deal with it all the time? And the answer is no, I don't always want to deal with it. But wolf got me. I thought I sort of timed that pretty good, but apparently not. I'm getting shot. That's great. Well, another Garu pack. Interesting how he died so fast. I must have got some sort of critical hit or something, because I really didn't even do much damage to him. It didn't feel like. Look at all these onions. Now we're going to have to kill another Garu hunter. I don't want to do that. But, oh, and then a wolf too. All this for onions. It's absolutely wild. I tried to avoid the arrow, but that didn't really work, did it? So let's just abandon the project. Run. I can't leave the onions. I mean, let's be real here. And then I think there's another dwelberry bush over here we can actually grab really quick. And then we're going to go back to our base. Apparently our inventory's full again, which is absolutely absurd. Why can't I teleport? That's interesting. What is going on? There we go. That was a little bit weird. I don't think I've ever encountered that before. Oh, we're stuck for a second. There's actually quite a bit built here too, which can affect my loading a little bit. And let's see. I know we've got to have more food than that. Is that all we've got? That's crazy. I guess we got affected by a lot of different monsters and things like that. We are going to have to pick up our base eventually. It's actually out of control, and it's completely our fault. There's no other way around it. We have just basically made it so it's incredibly difficult to use our chests because we've been really lazy. I don't really want to collect red berries right now, or potatoes, and cabbage, even though they're actually fairly important in making like other foods. It's tricky. I don't really like doing it. It's kind of like not the funnest, but I think it's important actually to do it just because ultimately that helps me make other food and that's more cooking XP. So in order to sort of take a break from cooking in between, I think what we can actually do is start to potentially work on wood cutting a little bit at some point here. Not right now, but that's a good break, I think. And the reason for this is because, and it's not for sure, I'm not 100%, but the reason I think it might be important to actually go that route is birds' nests, which I've said quite a few times already. But basically, you're going to want those birds' nests because they're going to probably be giving seeds. And worst case, they don't. And then they can give me feathers, I think, when I open them, which I can actually use to level up cooking. So no matter how you look at it, also once farming comes to the game, I'll be able to level up cooking a lot, like quite a bit as well. But by then, I mean, by the time Valhalla comes to the game, since I've already taken care of rune crafting, I think it might be fair to say that I'll actually have 1,000,000 cooking XP, potentially, by the time Valhalla comes to the game. There's no guarantee with that. It's just what I think is going to happen. As long as I stick to it and just keep going, I think we'll reach that milestone. Seems like we've got some bad guys sort of chasing us, being hunted, like always out here. I guess I wish like cabbage and things like that gave you more XP, because it is a little bit time consuming to collect all this stuff, right? But you don't really get rewarded in the way that I guess I think you would for running around so often and collecting all these different things. Even though they're a low level recipe make or a dish, I still would feel like, after all this time, you would get a little bit something more than the little bit that they provide. But I guess it's okay. You get to make those secondary recipes, so I guess it sort of works out. You know, I actually wanted to start playing some other games as well as to continue to play this. But the truth is, I've sort of realized I've got some other projects I'm working on in real life, and I can't basically give that amount of time. I know once Valhalla comes to the game, I'm just going to be putting in a lot of time into this game, and so I don't want to spread myself too thin. And to be 100% honest, I'm not really trying to spend the extra money right now on any of the games. I actually really like RuneScape and RuneScape, Dragonwilds, just in general RuneScape. But ultimately, you have to decide how you're going to spend your time and sort of put it to use. So I rather enjoy how much time I'm putting towards this, and it's working out quite well. I'm accomplishing everything I'd like to in a game. I think that's really important, and so I know I had mentioned that the gaming channel itself might have to do with a bunch of different games, but the truth is, like, I'm just gonna stick to this one for now, and probably the foreseeable future. And if something changes, you'll know when I know, because there'll be videos about it, or I may actually give a little bit of a heads up about whether or not I'm going to be doing that. But I'd rather enjoy this game, and I'd rather put my attention to this so I can actually be more invested into the project more wholeheartedly. I said that terribly. More wholeheartedly. So that's crazy, that word right there. Even though it's not crazy, like how much time and effort it took to say that simple thing. It's interesting. So this chest is completely empty, if we could just remember that. So we're not going to work on cooking right now, but we are going to just go ahead and do this. So we've got quite a bit of resources. If we just, I mean, last time I don't think we worked on the onions. So if we just keep working on this, we'll have quite a bit. We can even probably do a little bit behind the scenes pretty soon here. But we got our blurite, we worked on attack, we didn't really work on range. But, you know, now that I'm sort of sitting here, I do need to add some bolts. I think we got to make some bolts, actually. So let's actually see how we make the bolts, because it's been quite a while. So we just want to make regular blurite bolts. How are we going to do this? They want me feathers. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of feathers out. That should be enough, but I'm not 100% sure. So let's just see if I can find some more feathers, because this whole thing is just ridiculous and disorganized. Alright, so let's make a ridiculous amount of these. I can only do 31. I don't have enough feathers. Interesting. But I got 465 bolts, which is actually nothing. And I think that's why it's so important to... We'll pull these out too. But that's why it's so important, I think, to save your blurite bars and not really go crazy with different things. Like, obviously, I mean, not save them forever or anything like that. But basically, use them wisely is more so what I meant to say, because you don't know. Like, I've been using the blurite and it goes so fast. And the bolts, well, I guess I kill a lot of stuff, don't I? So that makes a lot of sense why it's going so fast. I've sort of got things mixed up. I got 54 Ica, which is great because it's going to be really important when you need to make poisonous arrows. I hate to use my feathers. I use so many in cooking, and it takes a considerable amount of time to actually get them back, which I did not realize. I thought it was going to be a lot different than that. I don't know. Chickens, I guess, don't drop as many as I thought. I potentially got a lot of them from opening up birds' nests when I was trying to get, with not quorum. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not quite sure, but I used up quite a bit of them, and I wish that I mean, I guess it just doesn't work, does it? You have to use them. It's just unfortunate because then you don't have them. So, okay. So I guess we could put a little bit of iron fire arrows. I mean, I don't really want to waste things like that when I'm just doing simple things like shooting down rune essence, but I actually don't do that anymore, so I probably should be okay. I need to get all this cleaned up. Maybe that's another project for potentially behind the scenes. We'll probably pull all this out, and let's see here what we're going to do. There they are. I was trying to find all these. I fill up my inventory one time, do an XP update, and then send you guys on your way. But we got to get stuff cleaned up, and that's for sure. It's a little bit ridiculous at this point. It's like having a messy room or something, or like a dirty car. It's not acceptable. It makes things extremely challenging. So much. So it looks like that's all I can hold, but you can see it made a lot of difference. It would be kind of cool if you could see how far your character has traveled. I know some games do things like that, and some don't, but I think it'd be interesting just to sort of see. I think my character's traveled quite a bit. We're going to put these here, even though that's a start to laziness, but basically I don't have that quite set up how I'd like to, so let's see. I think that's pretty much it. So we worked on a couple of things. Attack XP 332,000, range 70,000, woodcutting 1,002,000, construction 2,014,000, runecrafting 1,001,400, magic 125,000, mining 4,255,000, artisan 4,132,000, cooking 523,112. So we made a lot of progress. Hope that you guys are enjoying our content. Hope that you guys are enjoying your adventures in RuneScape Dragonwilds. And we got another one coming out tomorrow. So come on back. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and subscribe if you guys like our content. And until next time, Legion Looter out.